At the bottom right, our blue Terran is in fact FXO GuMiho. Now he looks a little bit tired.
This posture, I love it.
Yeah, he looks like he's looking down on the monitor.
Yeah, he's like a bear.
It's almost as if it's mounted into the table, and he's looking down on it.
And his opponent is starting to the top left of Ohana. In the red, we have LGIM ready.
Very strong player, but like his defense is...
I could actually... you looked at him the same way I did. We were both like thinking exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he kind of looks like Harry Potter, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. We think alike, man. But I think we may see perhaps factory-based play out of GuMiho this time. Change it up a little bit. This is the best map for it. He knows that the drop defense, the attack defense from Ready has been phenomenal so far. And he still was able to get through. Ready's force shields the first time, though, like you said, in the main base to defend the Hellions were great, but also, before he did that, he force sealed the Marines off right before they came in perfectly. He looked so good, but no gas for GuMiho.
I'm a little bit spoiled, though, I have to admit. What I really loved about Keen's performance that we saw at DreamHack was how aggressive he was against Protoss every single time. He used the same idea. Every time he faced the Protoss player, he mixed it up quite a bit, but the idea always centered around having 2 up to 5 barracks and doing early aggression with a small bioforce. It didn't even have to be like some kind of all-in. Sometimes he did it from 2 barracks, he did it from 3 barracks with add-ons, without add-ons. Just sending a few Marines in there, always hitting at different timings so that his opponents could not really get accustomed to his style, but he always tried to circumvent the early units for the Protoss player, the early Stalker, the early Zealot that would try to do some pressure and just get into the mineral line and do some damage to the probes. And every single time he made it work. And this is just a style that really appeals to me because it's really attractive to watch and to commentate.
You're talking about the style where after you expand, you add any number of barracks and it varies. You're talking about that style, right? Not with more barracks. You're talking about without medevacs, right? Just pure Marine pressure.
Exactly. He would sometimes do it even without any upgrades, without any kind of tech lab or whatever. And sometimes he would even wait for stim. But it was always centered around the idea that early on he would try to circumvent his opponent's army with just a few units, maybe like even 4 or 5 Marines. That's sometimes all there was to it. And just try to get into a good position.
Yeah, it's really creative.
Because he always banks on the idea that the Protoss player will try to occupy the Xel'Naga watchtowers. He will try to maybe put up a little bit of pressure with the Zealot and the Stalker.
Right. It's based on a false sense of security that your opponent has.
Exactly.
You know, Karn actually recently has been messing around with doing things like this. I've been, I helped him prepare for his match against Todd a little bit, and he really likes to just try to hide Marines, go in and attack, or go up to multiple barracks, 4, sometimes 5, just do big Marine pushes, try to circumvent the watchtowers, but then also, once he gets to the base, attack sentries, kill as many probes as possible, force his opponent to really react to that very aggressive pressure, and I really like this aggressive style.
Once you've done it, you are in a position where you are the one who is setting the pace of the game.
Right.
You are applying the pressure, your opponent has to react, so he's in a position where you are the one who kind of sets the way that the game will actually go. But right now, GuMiho, we've seen it in the last few maps, he's a player who really likes a little bit more of a defensive style. He might go for some kind of early tech and start with Banshees, but he's not going for this early bio attacks. The bio attacks that we've seen out of GuMiho so far always centered around the first medivacs that were in the game.
You're right. At this point, he is going to move out with a very small force. I think this is just simply to take the watchtower. We saw him do this on Atlantis Spaceship as well, where he just moved out with that first Marauder and then went home, or, kept some units on the watchtower briefly and then went home. At this point, he is getting his factory up. He started stim, everything at a pretty normal timing. His opponent has gone robo before additional gates because he scouted. And what he saw, of course, was, well, okay, you have a command center, so I'm going to just go robo. I don't have to deal with your early pressure. And, I mean, I really expected GuMiho to change things up here. This map is still pretty good for drop play. A little bit hard to defend if your opponent comes in from the left side with a drop or an elevator tactic. If he attacks with the natural at the same time, it's just very difficult to be both places at once. But so far, I've been really impressed with Reddy's drop defense. It's so solid. I haven't seen him really... I mean, besides the one moment where he made a mistake, which any normal human would have had a high chance of making, he just looks phenomenal with his defense.
He always seems to know exactly where the drop is going to hit him, so he has the units in position in order to intercept it. And even without the observers, every single time he kind of anticipates the move of GuMiho and is like, okay, well, I just shut you down at my choke point at the ramp. So right now, what would I do if I was you? I would probably try to make some good use of these medivacs that you have in your composition and try to drop me into the main base. And instantly, the next warp in hits the main base exactly where GuMiho is headed.
Yeah. The medevac timing for GuMiho is actually off because he made a Hellion, but that Hellion allowed him to check for the third base, and he took control of the watchtower with it. So he only has one medevac. You know, normally when you're making the starport, you make your reactor at the same time, then switch. While he was making his starport, he made a Hellion and then the reactor, so he's just got that one drop, and he's sending it with 4 Marauders in it.
And that drop is not doing too much there.
No.
Is that an observer that he has at the... Yeah,
Yes.
the left side of the map. And, oh, actually... This,
He's going to get lucky here.
he's gonna try to get up the ramp, isn't he?
This is really weird.
He has to stim and be really quick about it, and he does, and no.
It was fortunate for Reddy that he just happened to be warping in the Zealot at that time, at that same location. He can actually go pick up this pylon on the edge if he sees it, though, for sure. Looks like he doesn't see it, though. He does.
The thing what I kind of liked is that at first I really thought that he would just try to drop into the main base from a different angle and see how much damage he could actually do with it. But he didn't end up doing it because the thing is, if there is going to be an observer, where is it going to be?
On the left side.
Exactly where it is right now. So if you try to get into the main base and hit a different angle, you might do some damage, maybe snipe an important pylon, maybe find a Tolus's pylon tucked away somewhere where you can stop production for a while. So this is something that I really like, but he tries to go up the ramp, and he could have worked. As he said, he just warped in one Zealot. If that doesn't happen, and he's currently focusing on his economy and his
lost all
the main
sentries.
base. Exactly, there are 3 sentries with full energy, and if they die, then you are in trouble.
Right now, though, GuMiho doesn't lose anything. He's at head 12 supply. He's got a 3rd command going up, and he has an aggressive timing to move out and deny this 3rd base. This is very frustrating for Reddy. He's going to see this army moving out, and to be honest, I'm not sure if he's actually going to be able to fight this straight up, especially if he has so many units in his main base. I think he's going to he's not going to lose his Nexus. He's going to have to cancel it.
I think so too. He doesn't have Colossus out, so he can't contest the Marines. At the same time, his army here is trapped if he's not careful. That could actually end really, really, really badly. Oh god, if he gets flanked.
And the factory saw this. GuMiho not actually capitalizing on this, but he will force the cancel on the Nexus.
Yeah, and Reddy was kind of lucky. If he got flanked, the sentries were so exposed.
That could have been disastrous.
That could have been GG right there. Without the sentries, you can't stop your opponent from moving up the ramp, and if he reinforces, then this would have been curtains. But as it is, right now we have the first Colossus not being built because he's supply blocked.
Yeah, he lost too many pylons at his Nexus. He was expecting, because the Nexus is a pylon, he was expecting the Nexus to finish as well, and he lost a pylon, so on top of that, he had to make like 4 more pylons. And now, GuMiho still has an aggressive moment out on the map where he can catch some of these units. Nice blink there. He almost caught some Stalkers. But GuMiho's had his 3rd base up for so long, he's adding additional barracks right now. He's just going to power ahead and supply like crazy, and he again has an upgrade lead.
These upgrade leads that GuMiho has, he is really working hard for them.
You know why he does it is because most people get the +1, they do that 2 medevac push. GuMiho just gets 2 ebays and starts +1/1, whereas most people just get +1, then they add the 2nd ebay with the armory. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. And then they have like +2, 1.
Yeah.
+2 attack, +1 armor, and so they always. But he's always upgrading the upgrades at the same time and starts off with a double engineering bay immediately. And yeah, that's so right. And this gives him just in the late mid game and in the late game a huge advantage over his opponent, because as we can see once again with single forge Reddy just trying to get the first few upgrades, and he's even he's missing a few seconds. He's missing a few seconds here and there, and this is gonna end probably in GuMiho's favor once again. The supplier advantage, he has the earlier 3rd. Things are looking bad for Reddy.
Yeah, they really are. He's in
just
dire
slower.
straits right now. Yeah, I mean it's like having to play with one arm once you have to cancel that Nexus. I mean, everything else that you do is going to be so much harder.
you're trying to rely on all these different tech trees that you start to open up, and you want to really have something going against your opponent's bio. You want to have Colossi at the same time. You want to slowly but steadily go towards Storm, but without the additional 2 gas, it's really hard for you to pull it off, because relying on only 4 of them just does not give you enough to just set up everything you need. High Templar, Storm upgrades, Templar Archive. You need all those upgrades for the Colossi as well. You don't want to really stop to get the upgrades in the Forge, but you kind of have to, because suddenly everything is just restricted and your resources are limited.
Look at how fast GuMiho started +3. He started right on time. Amazing, in fact. He's going to actually target down some probes here, at least attempt to, but he distracts his opponent, gets into a great position at the bottom of the ramp.
And once again, the position to the 3rd.
He can never come down this ramp. He's going to try.
He's going to try and running right into the concave, but he is getting attacked immediately, and a small force of Marines running up to the natural. I love this decision making by GuMiho. Great unit control.
He just gets everything. He gets the probes, the natural, the army, and the 3rd base. Like, he wins 3 out of 3.
Gone. Well, he would if he didn't attack the Nexus, I guess. But the 3rd is already dead, and now he's just moving up the ramp. He kills every single unit in his path. And there are only 2 Colossi left. That's basically the only thing that Reddy still has in order to defend against this.
He may push this back.
I think he will, but to what end?
Yeah, exactly. There's a 2nd wave coming in now, and I think he may actually be able to stop both waves, but like the Colossus is gone.
All of them are
Micro.
gone.
He's got so many medevacs here. Even losing a few of them, he's got so many more. And look at the supply.
Yeah, the supply is dropping rapidly for Reddy, and he's just making sure that he's drawing those units. There's not a single time was there one army that really fought GuMiho. He was always able to attack from 2 sides and just making sure that he was really spread way too thin.
You're right. GG calls Reddy, and GuMiho definitely the better player in this series. Great play by Reddy as far as drop defense go, but you know, his engagements on the ground, army versus army, ground army versus ground army, GuMiho was always in the better position every time. Even in that last battle, he got the better concave, he had better map awareness, he just looked really good.
GuMiho just stepped it up after the first game, and he's the victor here, the former Code S player, now in advancing to the next round. And here another quick look at our results. Hero taking the first best of 3 series today with 2-0 over Juk 2. We had Finn, aka4GG, advance over the best, and the STC was able to take down Punisher without a problem at all, 2-0. And GuMiho, another Terran player. So the 3 Terrans, they actually advance. And we have a quick look at our next matches. They will start later on today. That's not the matches.
That's not our matches. That's our replays being saved. We take good care of those. But here we have Slayers MMA versus Hongen, Puzzle versus Seal, Jakchi versus Monster, Bomber versus Freaky. I'm really looking forward to all these, especially Freaky versus Bomber.
Yeah.
And Hongen appears to be teamless again. I thought he was picked up, but it looks like he is soloing it again. And we will see you guys in just about 2 hours, like literally 2 hours from now. We'll be back here with flashing lights, cameras, everything, a bunch of people in the studio. And it's going to be great.
We will have Seal and Freaky. That's going to be really great. 2 of those really crazy Zergs that NSO currently has. So let's see how that's going to work. 2 hours, and then we're back again with the GSL Code A, the round of 48.
Take the high road like I should.